What's going on? So, we had raised the fund meter to be able to do a Saturday stream, and the consensus for today was that we make a pistachio encrusted lamb chop. So, I have not made this particular dish before, so it'll be an adventure for all of us. Something interesting to try. We're going to do a little goat cheese polenta sauce, and all a polenta sauce is a polenta sauce. I can't pronounce stuff right. But all that is basically is just water and cornmeal boiled, and we're gonna add a little goat cheese to it for some flavoring. That'll replace our instead of like a mashed potato, that'll be our starch for the dish. And then we're gonna make a little cherry port wine sauce drizzle, big long multiplied words to make a fancy term. Basically, it's just going to be a cherry little drizzle that we're going to put on top of it to make it look extra fancy. So let's get started. I really don't know where I want to begin on this. I've been milling that through my head most of the day. What would be a good way to go about it? So first off, I'm just going to start by getting our pan warm. I'm going to turn it up to like a medium, just to start to get it warm. And I think what we're gonna first do is we're gonna make our we're gonna make the crusting for the lamb chop. So we'll go about. I have a food processor here, and we're gonna spin up some ingredients, and that's gonna be our crust to put on our lamb chops. There are multiple ways to go about doing the lamb. You can season it, pan fry it, bake it, or you can just straight up encrust it and bake it. You can put sauces on it and bake it different ways. A lot of people like the pan frying idea. When you put it in a nice hot pan, you sear the outside of it, which helps seal the juices inside of the meat. If you're going to cook it to a medium rare, medium. So we will probably we'll probably go with the searing method, and then we'll put our encrusting on it and bake it in the oven. So to start, let's just make our encrusting first. That'll be the first thing. And I did kind of mess up a little bit, but that's okay because lamb takes a good amount of salt. The pistachios I got are salted pistachios, and you want to use unsalted primarily. I'm just a fan of using unsalted anything. That way you can control your salt levels. YU, what is up? Lamb chop hype, what's up? Heck yeah. All right. How's it going, Barali? Got your lamb chops here, man. We're going to talk about meat cuts, too, because the lamb chops that I got and the lamb chops that you can get, and for the other things, for doing French cuts, is a little bit of a different cut. And I couldn't quite get those chops, so I got a different chop, but it's still a chop. It's still going to work. So we'll talk about some cuts of meat today, too, for fun. So to get started, we're going to make our pistachio crust. And I have my RoboCoupe top over here. Alright. But then, now if you don't have a RoboCoupe like this, this is a Cuisinart, just absolutely fantastic. If you don't have one, another option you can use is a blender. They work just fine. So I didn't get a chance to put my ingredient list up yet because I wasn't 100% sure what all ingredients we were going to use. I have a bunch of different ingredients. Some we might use, some we might not. We might use all of them. So I couldn't come up with a solid recipe to write down just yet. So at the end of this, I will have one written up for everybody. So to start here, we will start with some garlic. Sounds fun. I wrote down some notes for some things, just some things I thought about while doing this, because I've never made this before, so I kind of had to research a little bit for myself. I've made lambs before, cooked lambs before, but not like this. So let's see here. We're gonna get a couple of garlic cloves out. We're gonna put some garlic in this because everything's better with garlic. All right. Whoa! I'm gonna drop it. That's fun too, huh? This is usually why I buy the minced garlic, so you don't have to deal with this part. It's kind of helpful, saves time and energy, you know. You don't have to bust all the cloves out, peel them. Sometimes the extra $1 for the, and then you do that and you drop them all over the place. So you know, getting them minced isn't always a bad thing. But we're gonna go with some freshies today. Nice and peeled out. Made lambs. Ah, yeah. We can make lambs, I guess. Yeah, you raise them. We got a bunch around here. Alright, so we're gonna go with like probably 3 garlic cloves because I really enjoy my garlic. 3 big garlic cloves. And remember with the, so I showed before with the garlic cloves, when you're doing fresh garlic cloves, let me see if I can show this well in the camera. Let me switch this up here. So if you notice on the garlic clove here, it's got this really hard tip right up here at the top, right? So that hard tip can chip your tooth and chip other people's tooth. Sometimes they're harder than others, but it's this top piece right here. So what you want to do usually is either use your fingernail, take it off, just cut the tip of that off. You know, just the tip. YU is now hosting. Right on. Thanks a lot, buddy. Heck yeah. So we take that top piece. Now all of your cloves will have that piece. It depends on how close to the base root it is and how much of it snapped off. So if you can see here, I'm getting used to being under the camera with it. So like basically the pieces of the garlic clove are the ones that are attached to that, and that piece is hard. Hey, Ash Monster is now hosting my stream with 2 viewers. Right on. How's it going, Ash Monster? Thanks a lot. Appreciate the hosts. Heck yeah. Making some pork chops today. So yeah, we're just taking these little tip pieces off the top so nobody busts their teeth. Even if you put it in the food processor, those chunks are really hard, and they can grind up a little bit, but they can still be left with little hard pieces around, and you know, the unsuspecting person can chip a tooth or something. That was me. I used my power. Right on, Barali, to make Ash host you. Right on, Barali. You a moderator on Ash's site? Sweet, dude. I appreciate it. So we're gonna throw a couple of we got 4 garlic cloves in there. We're gonna open up our pistachios. They're already pre-peeled and shelled. That way we don't have to sit here for an hour and do that. They look fantastic. I love pistachios. Always got a taste test. You know. So throw a couple of those in there. We're gonna save some of them in case we ruin something, and so we can use it for some other stuff we might come up with while we're doing this, because we like to freestyle a little bit. So we got the garlic, we got those. We're going to take a little olive oil. Just got a little bit left in the jar, which is just perfect for what we need here. Just a little bit, just to get it wet. Get rid of that. Since those are salted already, we're not going to put any salt in it. I don't know if Lyric Jones is out there, but I know salt's his favorite thing. But so what we are going to do, oh, there we are. Got a little black pepper, just because I love black pepper. Put a little bit of that into there. And, oh yes, I have a little bit of rosemary. And what I'll do with that, slide this over. Got a little mini cutting board here. Ooh. Clear out my garlic mess. The other thing about fresh garlic cloves is you get a mess of shelling everywhere. It's always a big fun mess. Alright. YU, I love your emotes there, man. Those are super cool. Kittens? Right on. My kitten is around here somewhere. I'm sure she'll come and terrorize the table at some point today, like she always does. So we're going to put a little bit of rosemary inside of this mix, just for the fun. I'm just going to chop it up. I know it's going into the food processor, but when you're dealing with rosemary like this, you kind of want to give it a little bit of a chop up, because the food processor doesn't do the best at chopping up your seasonings. I'm just going to do a little bit, put inside there. And I think I want a little more oil, and I'm out of olive oil because we just used a little bit of that. So I got a little vegetable oil here. It's not the end of the world. It's okay. We're not really making an oil either. We're just kind of making like a paste, which is why you just need a little bit of oil. We're not like, saturating. Cumin is great to add to the lamb chop. It is, and I meant to get some, and I think, let me see if my fancy little rack here has some. Cinnamon, oregano, paprika. Yeah. Bummer. I don't think I have any. I don't think I have any in my cupboard either. I should have got some too, and I didn't. Fail. Ruined. Let's see. Nah, I don't have any cumin, but that's okay. If you do have cumin, feel free by all means to put it on there. Maybe I'll add that to the recipe list too, just for the fun. I got thyme and I swear I had cumin. No, I got cardamom. That's what I got. Yeah, no cumin. Sorry, Brawley, but next time, vegetable oil. Yeah. Please. I just put like the tiniest splash, so it's basically like 50-50 with the olive oil. Excuse me. So we'll be okay. It's not the end of the world. We shall survive. Let me turn this around the right way. There we go. Alright, process it for a minute. Spin all that up real nice. Probably sounds great. I think YU really doesn't like vegetable oil. Something about poop on a cat's head. Alright, check out this paste. Right on. So we're going to put this paste into a little bowl, just so we can have something to set it on the side. Got a little bowl. And we got a little bit of and we got our crumble, right arm. Slide this up there. Looks and smells delicious. And because none of this is, excuse me, because none of this is raw meat, headphone users, 10/10 for headphone users. Heck yeah, gotta use a headphone. I don't understand how you do it any other way. Love the headphones. If I had a mic, I spend too much time walking around the kitchen. And so if I had a stationary mic, I'd just be going in and out of volume. Plus these prismatic headsets with the color changing, so awesome. So pistachio roast super fast though. Keep in mind when you're finishing it up. Yeah, I will keep that in mind. Thanks again, Barali. Yeah, it's like we're gonna pan fry it for about like a minute and a half, 2 minutes on each side, if that, and then we're gonna roast it in the oven for literally like 5 minutes, and that should probably get us a perfect medium rare. It is lamb chop. I'm not the biggest fan of medium rare lamb chop, so we might be okay if we go towards a medium with it. But yeah, no, thanks for the heads up. Yeah, it definitely cooks quick. So you can give this a taste. See how it is. Tastes great. You can taste that garlic. Taste the oils. Taste the pistachio. A lot of flavor going on in that already. And we're just getting started. So we're gonna set this on the side, because that's going to be used for our lamb chops. How do we want to go about this? So maybe I'll turn this down. We'll get started on our drizzle first. That's a good idea, because that's going to take a little while to cook down. So we can get our drizzle started, let it cook down while we work on our chops afterwards. That's good. Okay. So yeah, part of being in commercial kitchens is you always try to figure out how you can have one thing being worked on while you work on something else. That way you can save time. And with Stream, it works kind of the same way, because otherwise I just sit here and wait for stuff to bake in the oven, and it just gets boring. So we're going to make our port sauce. This is going to be interesting. been a while since I made one of these types of sauces. Basically what this port sauce is it's a reduction sauce. What a reduction sauce is, we're going to take things like our tawny port wine, we're going to take things like our red wine vinegar, we're going to add a little bit of pitted cherries. I got some dark sweet cherries for that extra sweetness, so we're going to put that in there, and basically it's a lot of liquid. All of this has great flavor, but there's a lot of liquid in it, so when you try and get fancy on pouring it on top of your lamb chop, you got to you got to glaze it down. So we will put these in a pan and reduce it into what's called reduction sauce by reducing the liquid, the water, out of it, leaving us with all the other stuff. So this is one of the few times where you'll see me use a measuring cup because I can't eyeball 1 cups and stuff like that. And so what we're going to do is, let's see, how do we want to make this? You know what, why not? We'll fill this up since we're already at this point. So we're going to fill this up to 1 cup. And this is our tawny port wine. Port wine for a bottle this size is $5.95. It is really cheap wine. You should only use it for cooking. If you're like 18 or whatever and your buddy grabs you a bottle, that's about the only time we ever really drink this stuff. Not suggesting you don't underage drink. Yeah, it's not a good drinking wine. It's nothing fancy that you want to drink with. It's primarily for cooking only, really. So we got our 1 cup of that. We're going to put, part of me wants to put garlic in this, but part of me doesn't. And you know what? I think because we got it in there, we're going to put it in the thing. We're going to leave the garlic out of this. So, because we'll have it in other stuff. So what we'll start is we got a 1 cup of our wine. We got some red wine vinaigrette. And we got our dark sweet cherries. So we'll just pour it into here. Why not? Let's just put it all together. 1 cup of that. We might go with 2 cups just so we can have some extra drizzle. Might make a double portion here. Our can opener. Open up our sweet cherries. We're probably going to use the juices of this as well because we want that nice sweet flavor. Don't overpower the pistachio and honey with garlic. Yeah, no, you're totally right. That's why we opted out of the garlic on this. Okay, perfect. Yeah, so we opted out of the garlic, or you aren't using honey. No, I don't think I'm going to use honey. I do have honey. Maybe we will use honey. Actually, I might, now that I think about it, to make it thick. I do have honey somewhere around here. Yeah, so maybe we will add some. Don't overpower the pistachio and honey with the garlic. Yeah, so we'll probably use a little bit of honey. That will help with the thickening of our glaze. And so yeah, we just use the garlic in the pistachio rub, and that's probably about where we're going to stay with the garlic on that, because we'll make the goat cheese polenta and we'll make this, and the idea being that everything should complement each other. But we're going to find out. So we got these dark sweet cherries going on here. We're going to pour a little bit of this juice in there because it's just so good. I'm going to throw a couple of the cherries in there too. They're going to kind of mush down and melt down, and when you make the drizzle, you'll just kind of squeeze these out to the side. These are just going to stay in there to help with the cherrying flavor. And a little red wine vinegar. One thing was talking about possibly using some sherry wine vinegar. I couldn't get a hold of any because none of the stores around here had it. So we're going to go with red wine vinegar. Essentially the same, slightly different. It's a vinegar in the same family. It'll work. So yeah, you know what? We'll go with 2 cups of our. If I take the lid off, go with 2 cups of our tawny here. Maybe a cup and a half. How's that? Yeah, let's go with a cup and a half. 2 cups. I never know how much to make because I always make a lot. Just always make sure there's enough. I hate running out of stuff, so I always make extra. It's just kind of me personally. Alright, so put the cherries into there. The red wine vinaigrette, we're going to use about 2 tablespoons worth. So what's that gonna be? We'll use a good way to grab a spoon. Let's do this. I usually just honey mix with a little bit of lemon juice to glaze the chop to hold the pistachio crust. Okay, I see what you're talking about. A little honey mix with a little bit of a little lemon juice, glaze the chop, and that'll help hold the crust. And yeah, that's fantastic. And we'll probably do something like that for sure. So, one couple of tablespoons of some red wine vinegar. Maybe one. There we go. All right. Now you can taste test it at this point. It's gonna taste like crap because it's all really strong. We're wanting this to reduce down, is the plan, and so it's not gonna taste as much as you want it to right now. I'm gonna throw a little pepper in there because again, I love my pepper. See, we can taste it. I mean, it does kind of taste about what you're looking for. It'll give you a basic idea, but it's not gonna taste exactly what you want. It's gonna be pretty strong on some ends. And with that taste, I'm going to put just a splash more vinegar in there. Where did you find all these cat memes? Or all these cat emotes? They're killing me, man. I love it. Alright. So that's on. We got that on a medium to a higher heat. At least till it gets initially hot, and then we'll reduce it down. The next thing is we'll get the pork chops out, huh? We'll play with those for a minute. I'm going to set my cherries to the side here. Clean up this little area mess first before we pull out some raw meats. Get things capped off, cleaned up. So, as we like to start most streams off, and I haven't gotten to yet today, what did you guys have for dinner this week? Last night was Friday. Did you have anything cool for Friday? Did you go out for dinner on Friday? Today is what, Saturday? So you going out to dinner later tonight, or why you pay $35 to unlock 40 emotes? Hey, muchas, okay, yeah. So is that 35 to one site for 40 emotes? Or, excuse me, chicken stir fry, pita bread, hummus. That sounds really good. And actually, I'm going to be making a YouTube video of how to. I'm gonna make one. If you haven't seen yet, I've made a couple of YouTube videos of making burger, making some deep fried cheese balls. So I'm gonna make another YouTube video of making a homemade hummus. I used to make a lot of homemade hummus, black bean hummus, stuff like that. So I'll do some YouTube videos making some hummus at some point, maybe even this week. So yeah. Alright. So back to cleaning off this cutting board and area here. Move our rosemary out of the way. I guess we're not quite done with it. We'll leave it out. Set my garlic back here with my dress stuff. Yeah, if you've never made your own hummus, when you see some recipe and see how to make it, again, as long as you have a blender or a food processor, you'll be able to make some super awesome hummus. And we're going to move this board because I like to use plastic boards when I deal with raw meat. Plastic boards are important to use when dealing with raw meat because it doesn't soak in the bacteria the way that wood can. You always want to, if you can, you always want to save your wood. You always want to save your wood cutting boards for your vegetables and whatnot. And I guess cooked meats you could. So we got those lamb chops over here. So this is where we're going to talk. We're going to have a little butchery lesson. We're going to learn about cuts of meat here because we got a couple things going on with these cuts. For starters, they'll look relatively recognizable as a beef cut because obviously a cow, a pig, a sheep, all of it have the same basic cuts to them, right? So all of their cuts of meat will look about the same, just different. this will recognize, probably look a lot like a T-bone steak to you guys. If you've had T-bone steak from a cow, you know, this is the exact same cut off the lamb as it would be on the cow for your T-bone. Now, what we're going to learn about some butchery is shave your wood. Shave what wood? Oh, shave your wood. I didn't say shave it. What are you talking? So when you're talking about the roasts with the when you're talking about the lamb chops that have the nice bone that comes out, you have the little hunk of meat, you know, and then it gets that nice big bone that kind of sticks out and make that fancy, you know, for the crust. That is called that's also a lamb chop. But what you have is the whole loin of the back, right? So if you imagine the whole back, all this comes off the back. This here is the backbone. Initially on your, let's see here. Initially on your animal, it's going to essentially look similar to this on the back, right? That's your main spinal cord that's going to go down the back there, and it runs like this. This on a cow is going to be your New York strip. Your New York strip. This here is what's called your filet mignon, or your tenderloin, or the back strap, called many different things. And actually, yeah. So this back strap here is that super tender piece of beef where you go to the store and you order the filet mignon, it's like $30 a plate. That's that sexy piece. And the way that works on the cow is, or on any of the cow or the sheep, is if the two pieces are like this, right? And that's your animal going down this way. This is more towards the back half of the animal. You have your New York will come up and it'll transition into what's your ribeye roast up here. And your ribeye will be more on this top part of it, and that's where your lamb chop with the French cut with the bone sticking out. So as it comes back, the ribeye will slowly transition into the New York strip, and then the New York strip will slowly transition into the sirloin. And when you get a true New York, you'll notice some of them will have that piece of tendon that kind of goes right there on those. And what that is you technically have three sections of meat. You have a filet mignon, you would have your New York, and if you had that other little piece right here, you would have a piece of the sirloin. That's where all three pieces of the meat connect. And that's called the porterhouse chop. If anybody asks you for a porterhouse chop, that's going to be the chop that has your sirloin, your New York, and your filet mignon. So the butcher shop that I got this from did not have the ribeye section of the lamb for that particular lamb chop. They only had this, so we're going to work with this. And as you can see, a little bone right here. As it comes down the back of the animal, those bones come down longer as it comes up. You know, if you're looking at it as a person, as it comes up, your ribeye is going to come more up to the top. So, little butchery lesson on that. Any questions, feel free to ask. But yeah, that's the basic of how that works. So it's still a chop. It's the New York section of the chop as opposed to the ribeye section, which isn't a bad thing. It's not going to look as cool as I was hoping I can make it look for you guys with the fancy French cut. Eventually, what I will do is I'll probably get some pork chops at some point, and we'll do those, and I'll get that right spot of it, which is the ribeye cut part, and I'll show you how to do a French cut. And what that is just removing the fat and stuff from the bone so that you have that fancy bone sticking out. It's good looking meat. Yeah, man. It's really good looking. We're probably going to cut that little tip of the fat off just because I don't like it there. I smell our vinegar heating up over here. You can PM you some good looking meat. That's okay, YU. I don't want to see your good looking meat. You just save that for yourself on a rainy day. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna make a little seasoning rub. I'm gonna slide this just a little to the side right here while we work on a little seasoning for it. So I'm gonna take some black pepper. I'm gonna take a dash of salt. This is the part where if you had cumin, like we were talking about, you would put a little bit of cumin right in here. Just a little bit of salt, because remember I screwed up and got the salted pistachios. So because I got salted pistachios, we don't want a whole lot of salt because it's already going to have some. It was so effing rare, I had to use a master ball. Yeah. Oh, I love those memes. So rare. So then we are gonna put a little rosemary into this as well. For this, we're not really gonna chop it. Probably just kind of shuck a couple pieces off and just kind of tear it up for it. Because this is just gonna be the outside layer for fun. It's just gonna season a little bit, or sear in the pan. I mean, I'm also gonna get my pan going back. I had it hot at one point. It's still pretty warm, but I want to get that heated back up. Alright. There's so much oil on that plate. If there was any more, the U.S. would invade it. Yep. Alright, we'll put our rosemary back in the fridge now. So we got a little, maybe a little paprika, maybe just for fun. I don't know, I like paprika. Why not? Wasn't part of the recipe plan, but ooh, that was a lot of it. That's okay. I like paprika, it's not a bad thing. So, move this other pan out of our way over here. Alright. Got that heating, got this going. Cool. So, we didn't build a whole lot for our seasoning. The reason I like to mix my seasonings in a bowl first as opposed to just pouring them is because you like to season both sides of the meat. And if you're doing it by individual shakers, when you flip it, you got to rewash your hands, you got to worry about cross-contamination. This way you got all your seasonings evenly mixed up to evenly place on your meat. Yeah. So we're just going to sprinkle a little bit up. Top, sprinkle a little on each side here. Take our knife. We're going to cut this fat cap piece off of this portion. Just because we don't want that just sticking out. It's just not fun. And see, this has a beautiful fat cap on it. See, this is how your loin initially goes together. Like that, right? So this would be more towards the back, more towards the front. It kind of goes down. So when you do it as a roast, this is what I'm talking about on that tri-tip roast that I did with the mac and cheese. This fat cap, if you cook it as a roast and you cook it with the fat cap up top, all this fat and grease and juice is just going to seep and melt into that meat the whole time it's cooking, just flavoring it and seasoning it so well. And that's what's important about the fat cap. When you're doing it this way too, it'll help with a little grease in the pan. It'll also help moisten it. Just remember, towards the end, when you're done, you're going to want to cut that off after the fact, because unless you enjoy eating that, most people don't like. So yeah, who's the greatest chef in the world? Fat cap equal. Fat cat equal. Who's the greatest chef in the world? That's a good question. I don't know if you could say that there's an actual greatest, because everybody has their specialties and their downfalls of different areas. So to say who's the greatest, I don't know. But my personal favorite, and I guess your personal favorite is who you would consider to be the greatest if you were to look up to anybody. Gordon Ramsay is my favorite, next to Anthony Bourdain. The two of those guys are just awesome. But if you're talking, but like at the same time, I would say I've worked for some other chefs that are just amazing. There's this one chef down in Gardner. His name's Chef Phil. Works at the Raven Grill. If you're ever in Yellowstone area and down in Gardner area, there's a restaurant called the Raven Grill, and I got the opportunity to spend 3 years with that chef, and he is on a different level. The guy is phenomenal. I might even go down and spend a little time down there this summer helping him out with his shop. So we got those seasoned, looking good. So we're going to switch our camera, something like that. And we're going to bring our lamb chops over there. Alright, let's go full-time stove cam, huh? Yeah. Look at that, just boiling, reducing nicely. This is gonna get to a nice sticky glaze is what's gonna happen. And the more of it I spill on the stove, the more sticky glaze I'm gonna have to scrub off the stove. Alright, I think our pan is warm. Excuse me. We'll add a little butter to our pan just to get it oiled a little bit. We're gonna pan sear these babies. I got a timer on the. Alright, a little butter. Look at that sizzle. I'm gonna take. We'll barehand it in first. What the hell? I think this is gonna be fully done. So, sizzling. You hear that sizzle? I love it. It's such a good sound. I set the timer just because I like to time these things for our videos and stuff. Just so I, like when I work in commercial kitchens, you just do a million things at once, so you don't pay attention. And so, for once, I'd actually kind of like to time it things and just kind of see how that works. So I have a 2-minute timer set. I smell that rosemary comes off of there. It's so good. Oh my god, it's amazing. So let's see what else we need here. So that's sizzling. Cooking. We'll get our cornmeal. The other thing is we're going to need a pot of boiling water. Hey, something happened. Danny the Fist is now following. Right on. Hey, thanks for the follow, Danny. Appreciate it. If you just joined us, we're making lamb chops. I'm going to give them a flip here. That was a minute, so we're going to flip them after a minute. Seems to work. Right arm. Get a nice sizzle there. Where did I put my measuring cup? I'm all lost. Alright, so we're going to put 4 cups of water into this pan. That seems like a good number of water to use. They don't have to be exactly to the line. Because what we're making is, so this polenta sauce that we're going to make, it's basically all it is a water and cornmeal, right? It's an Italian type of deal. And basically it's a starch that will replace the mashed potatoes or something like that in your dish, you know what I mean? So, oh god, look at these. Okay, so 1 minute on each side seemed to work perfect. We're going to pull them off. We're going to put them into our pan here. That's our 2-minute marker. Perfect. I'm going to shut that off. I'm going to leave this pan out for the time being, just for a moment, because there's some good flavor in there. I want to see if there's a way we can harness that flavor. So now I want to get our water boiling on that one. Actually, yeah, we will, because something else is I got some asparagus, and I'm going to season up some asparagus. And where you might, yo, it's Lom. Iom, who's Lom? What's up, Lom? Danny the Fist. But yeah, good to see you. Thanks for swinging in stream, saying hi. It's always fun. So I'm gonna pull these underneath our prep cam now, because we're gonna season these bad boys up. Asparagus. Oh yeah, I know. So the reason I got asparagus is I joined this local co-op thing that they do nationwide, and some people set up here, where you pay $15 at the beginning of the week, and you pick it up on Friday, which I did last night, and they give you 50% fruit and 50% vegetables, and it was a fantastic basket for $15. It was freaking awesome. They're called Bountiful Baskets, and you can check it out on online and on their Facebook page, Bountiful Baskets. I am from WoW. Alright, sorry about that. Sometimes my laptop likes to do a little reconnect. But yeah, I am from WoW, right on. Good to see ya. Internet police. I know, man. I don't know what happens. It's got to be my laptop because it's on wireless internet. And like I said, I am fixing that. Hopefully by next month, I will have all the equipment necessary to run all of this off on my main computer and not have to worry about an aging laptop issues. So, all right. So back to what we were going to do is you're probably all watching a commercial right now too because it had to restart. So I'll BS for another half a second. Let that commercial pass. So I'll grab a clean drink of water. Why not? Wash my fingers off. Love that connect reconnect thing, and then it's like, here's another commercial for you to watch, so you miss another part of the stream. Oh, Twitch got to get paid somehow, huh? All right. No ads, right on. Cool. So we got the lamb. We got our pistachio mix, which is just awesome. And we had mentioned some honey. So yeah, so I got gloves, and I like where we're going with that idea. Good thing I got these gloves because this is going to get sticky. Ad block and turbo. Yeah, I'm going to have to get that turbo. I've been debating on getting turbo. So I'll probably be getting turbo soon. And when you get turbo, does that mean the viewers don't have to see your ads either? So like, if I get turbo, you guys won't have to see the ads on this page? Is that how that works, YU? Because if that's the case, we'll be getting turbo soon. So we had discussed putting a little bit of honey, and this is a little trick I did in my YouTube video, and I'm curious how well it's going to work for this. So let's try it, huh? We can experiment and learn together. So I'm going to use honey, and I want to smear it on. I got gloves. Obviously, the honey's going to stick to everything. So I'm going to take some cooking spray and see if I can spray the cooking spray on my hand, right? Now that cooking spray is on, see if that'll help the honey from sticking as much to my gloves. Who knows? It might not work at all, but it's an idea that I'm curious to try. So we're going to pour a little honey in the pan. Honey with lemon juice will make it easier to deal with. Sweet. So we'll just drizzle some lemon juice over in a second. I got some fresh lemons. Part of that Bountiful Baskets that I was talking about earlier. Just a really cool company. I've never seen it or done it before, so I went down yesterday to check it out, and it was really cool. There was a lot of people went down there. They set up a drop point every Friday, and yeah, it's a really neat thing. All right. Off. A little more honey. So yeah, the Bountiful Baskets thing is nationwide, all across the country. If you don't have one in your area, all you have to do is send them an email, and you can set up to have one started in your area. But yeah, check them out, see if they're in your area. It's a pretty neat thing. And I took my gloves off early, but that's okay. So we're going to take a little bit of the lemon. I got a tiny little lemon here. We're just going to give it a small little slice. I've got another cutting board up back there. Alright. So we'll just give it a little drizzle. Alright. Let's do one side on that. I took my gloves off. I shouldn't have. And that pan spray was actually working really well on them too, so I'm going to keep with that. So, new fresh glove. Spray the hand. Okay. Alright, maybe we'll squeeze a little more lemon too. Why not? Come on. There we go. A little bit of juice. Amazing. Now we're going to take this awesome stuff. I almost grabbed it with my glove finger. Use a fresh finger when you're grabbing it out of this bowl, because if you don't use all of it, none of it's raw meat. So if you don't use all of your pistachio crust, you can wrap it and save it for another day, provided you don't double dip your raw lamb fingers in it. Once you get other meat inside of it, then it's ruined and you can't save it, because then it's going to have the bacteria of your other meats in it. But as long as you keep a separate fresh hand for it, you'll do just fine. Alright. Nice little crusting on there. Actually, I'm just going to throw a big handful into here. kind of get down and play with it. Why not? Really get up on it. There's some good looking stuff. Might as well really get down and play with it, huh? Looks like I'm not going to have any to save, so. Lag! Yeah. Alright. It's looking fantastic, though. And the flavor of this crust is so good. So, I mean, I am really excited about how this is going to come out. Like I said, I've cooked lots of lamb. I've only eaten it a few times, and I wasn't the biggest fan of the lamb that I did have, simply because of maybe the way it was made, I guess. I don't know. I just wasn't a fan. But we're going to find out. Sometimes things you don't like because of the way it's made, so you make it a different way, and then you do like it. I think you added a little too much oil. Yeah, you know, I made it a little. I think it'll be okay. We'll find out. We probably could have maybe used a tad bit less, but at the same time, the oil is just going to get hot and just kind of sizzle in the pistachios and stuff, and it'll kind of like sizzle off of it, I think. But, you know, lamb is my favorite meat for sure. Yeah, that's awesome. Yeah, I don't know. I guess we'll find out if I like it today, because like I said, I haven't actually eaten it in a long time. I've cooked lots of it. I haven't eaten it in a long time. Oh, I don't have my oven on. Alright. So, we're going to set these out to the side now. So they are crusted, they're seared, they're ready. I made a mistake and didn't turn my oven on. So we're going to wait for that to heat up, but at the same time, that's okay, because we have asparagus to cook. And it'll be awesome that our asparagus will be ready at the same time. So let me switch up the... Lamb is gross, but fun to watch. Lamb is A+ top shelf. Real aces. Yeah, so, we're going to find out. I will tell you how this tastes. And after we find out how this tastes, maybe you can go on and make some of this, and maybe you'll enjoy lamb. Because as I had stated too, I'm not sure if I fully like lamb either. I just wanted to learn something new and cook something new, and needed a suggestion idea, and that sounded like a fantastic one. So we're gonna learn and try some stuff. All right, so I'm gonna set my lemon to the side. I gotta clean this area up a little bit, desanitize it. We got a little bottle of bleach spray. This is the best. Always make sure you label your bottles if you put chemicals in them. A+ on MasterChef Junior. Rami. Who ended up winning that yesterday? Did either of you guys watch that? I caught the very beginning of it. There were those two little girls that were competing at the end, right? Anybody happen to see that? I need a new spray bottle because this sprayer don't work for crap on here. So, I'm going to switch to some other tactics. A little bit of soap. Got some bleach down here. You always want to clean stuff with bleach. Nothing kills it like bleach. Another thing you want to sometimes do is you can make yourself a sanitizer bucket, which is what I'm going to make a little generic one right here. I got a little bowl. I'm going to put some warm water. I'm going to put a splash of, ooh, that's a big splash of bleach. Splash of bleach in it. And then grab a scrubby or grab a rag or whatever you prefer to use as your scrubbing tool. And use that to clean up. Clean up knife. Nice raw stuff up. Cool. So our water was sizzling and boiling, which is ready for our polenta. So I'll set that in the back and keep that on low warm. We're going to pour our asparagus up. Another thing we're going to do with the asparagus is I'm going to take this butter and I'm going to melt it in Chef Mike so that we can put it all over our asparagus. Excuse me. Alright. 30 seconds, probably not quite that much. Reduction is looking good. Where's I get so lost sometimes where I put everything. Alright. So it's reducing. We can actually give it a small taste test. You can definitely tell it's going to need a little more of that sugar. I mean, you definitely probably put some honey into it right now, actually. So just kind of a little drizzle. Help sweeten that up. Raz, go on Hell's Kitchen. Yeah, I would love to, honestly. Like, I've seen some of those shows, and I wouldn't mind when it's so I can meet Gordon Ramsay. Heck yeah, man. And then you can show him your Gordon Ramsay thing. I would like to go on one of those one day. It'd be kind of cool. Some of them are only for the house ones. Some of them are for other cooks. And I watched some of it, and you watch how stressed out. What bugs me about that show, and part of why I want to go on it, because I just want to know and understand. You watch it, and they're like, they make that rice dish risotto. They make the risotto, right? And they make like 40 dishes of risotto, 50, 100 dishes of risotto that night. And they do it every single night, every episode. And you're watching on like episode 6, and the guy is still burning and screwing up the risotto. And it's like, dude, you've been making this dish on this show for like 3 weeks now, and you still can't make a damn risotto, and you still don't know the quality control and portioning of it. And like, people were always like, oh, Chef Ramsay's so mean, he's yelling at him. It's like, no, that idiot sat there and screwed that risotto up for 3 freaking weeks. Like, at some point you gotta tell the guy you can't make a freaking risotto. Like, God. Guys kill me sometimes. Yeah, that's why I'm curious to go on that show to like kind of see some of that, to be like how difficult or like what, you know, because I've been in kitchens that big, I've been in kitchens that stressful, I've ran lines like that, I've been yelled at by chefs, I've yelled at under chefs, you know, I mean it. So I've just always been kind of curious how that works. Sorry, my little rant on the people on the cooking show. They just crack me up. That other lady, she won one of those cooking shows, 2 years ago or so. She won Gordon Ramsay's, what was that one where it was the two against each other, the house cooks or whatever, and he was going to give them their own restaurant. That one chick won, and she won like $100,000, got her own restaurant in Vegas, the whole 9 yards. She showed up to run the kitchen. She failed a drug test for coke. Dumb lady. Yeah, when Gordon talks shit to the guests is great. Yeah, yeah, Barali, like, most kitchens are pretty smooth. I mean, some of them are pretty stressful. Some of them can be pretty hectic like that. But it's just funny when you're on a cooking competition, you've burned the same dish 20 freaking times, and you're still burning it. It's like, oh my god. But yeah. So we got some fantastic looking asparagus here. So I'm just gonna take like probably just like quarter to half this bunch. I'm not gonna use all of it because it's not all gonna get eaten. So I'll just use what's gonna get eaten because I love asparagus. A couple more. Yeah, they all end up taking the 25K cash. Yeah, no, that lady won. She won the running the restaurant and everything, the 100 grand, the whole 9 yards, and she couldn't even pass a drug test. And I'm sorry, if Gordon Ramsay came up to me and was like, hey, here's a $100,000 a year job, and here's running your own, or here's $100,000 cash, here's your own super sweet multi-million-dollar restaurant with my name on the front of it, all you gotta do is pee in this cup, I would happily get that piss nice and clean for him, because that's like an opportunity of a lifetime, and those people are stupid for not taking it. So we got our asparagus chopped. I like to chop them a little shorter. When you get towards this end, it gets like really tough and stuff like that. So this will all go into our compost bag, which I had sitting around here somewhere. Oh, here we go, right here. Right on. So then we'll take that. Got our asparagus. We're going to take our melted butter, just kind of pour it over top of it. I'm going to take a little black pepper because we love black pepper. And a little bit of salt. Make 100K a year, pay someone 20K to piss. Easy, right? Exactly, something like that. Alright, so that looks good. We're going to warm up our pan again for it. Another thing to note with our glaze over here is it'll also thicken up as it cools down too. So once we get a good reduce to it and we notice it's getting a little bit thicker, we'll be able to cool it and it'll be a little thicker as well. Give a little taste. That honey helped pulled. Yeah, that honey in there helped out a lot. So we got our butter on there. As you see, it's solidifying because the asparagus is cold, so the butter is solidifying in. We're going to use the same pan that we fried our lamb chops in because the lamb chops gave it flavoring and seasoning in there. There's a little bit of rosemary, which might add a little bit of more rosemary. Oh, actually, I'll take some of that seasoning that we used. I made some rosemary on that. Alright. Oh, our oven is at temperature now too. That's what that beeping was earlier. So we're going to get these going and we're going to throw our lamb chops in the oven and set our temperature for 5 minutes and see how close we nail it, huh? And then we'll make our polenta, which is just about ready. So yeah. This is going to be the only thing that's going to take a while. And we can even put it in a bigger pan so it can take quicker too. We'll work on that in a moment. So right now, get that. I didn't hear a sizzle, which means it wasn't quite hot enough. Alright. So while that, I guess we can switch to our polenta right now, huh? I'm going to take this and set it on our back burner over this side. It'll be out of camera view, but you know what it's doing, just slowly sizzling. I'm going to bring our water over to here and I'm going to start adding our cornstarch and thickening this up. So I'm going to switch to our stove cam. I'm going to set our timer as well for 5 minutes. We got our pork chop, or our lamb chop. Yeah, pork chop. In the oven. Set it dead centered rack. Timer set for 5 minutes. Let's see how much we can do in 5 minutes. So we're going to take our cornstarch that I just lost, which is right here. We're going to whip this into our pan here. Our asparagus is going to cook there. While it's pouring in, pour it in light. Keep your whisk going so it doesn't clump up on you. We're going to get a real thickening going on here. Oh man, maybe I shouldn't use 4 cups of water because this is going to be ultra thick. I don't know if I'm going to need this much. We'll find out. Yeah, we're going to cut this in half, guys, actually. We're going to pour some of this out. So maybe we should only go with 2 cups of water because we don't need that much today. Oh, it does look good, though. Yeah, so call it 2 cups instead of 4 cups, guys. We're going to want a nice little pasty with it. Almost like an instant mashed potato type texture. Because what this is going to be the starch to the meal. So like when you're presenting fancy dishes in a fancy restaurant, just a reminder, really keep an eye on the lamb chop. She rose so fast you won't believe it. Yeah, that's why I got the timer at 5 minutes, and we'll drop back under that in just a moment. So I have the goat cheese to add. Oh shoot, turn this off because now our heat's, we don't need the heat no more. It's got a nice thickness to it. We're gonna add our goat cheese. I got 6 ounces here. We'll probably 1, 2. So we'll probably add about 2.5 or more ounces to it. If I can cut the damn thing open. There we go. This is just gonna add for a different type of flavor. Goat cheese. Why you got any goat emotes? Any fun emotes for the goat cheese? Some goat cheese hype? Some people really love this stuff. I don't know. Alright, now it's in there. It's gonna dissolve that in. We'll also have some of this melted butter. We'll pour some of that into our polenta as well. Help it out a little bit. Got our asparagus, frying in some salt and pepper and some butter and some lamb chop juice. We're going to check our lambs real quick. Looking good. Okay, mix our polenta up. Oh, we need a little bit of salt in there too. Is that supposed to be your goat cheese emotes there? Maybe a little more salt. A couple of sprinkles. This is where all the quick stuff has to happen. Okay. So we got our lamb chops have been in for 3 minutes. They're looking good. We're going to keep that in there. We're going to taste this polenta. I hope I'm pronouncing that right. Somebody's probably like, this guy's an idiot. Whatever. Did you say goat? I did. I said goat. You know what? It's fantastic. It's going to need just a little bit more. But it's absolutely fantastic. So, this is a 6-ounce thing of goat cheese. We're probably using about 3.5 to 4 ounces of it. So about 2/3 of a 6-ounce thing would be 4 ounces of it, right? That's about how much we used. And we're using that in, we dumped half of it out, so we'll call it 2 cups of water. Alright, this asparagus is just sizzling so nice. We're almost at 5 minutes. We're going to check our chops. Alright, still need a couple more. Still doing alright. Alright, let's taste it now. The goat is here, yeah. Every time I think of goat, I think of, remember Adam Sandler's goat skit? When he does the goat. God, I love that one. There we go, we're getting better. You know, go to sleep, old man. You got a long day of drinking and beating the fuck out of me tomorrow. Oh yeah, you're right, goat. Good night, goat. Good night, old man. Alright, let's pull these back up to here. Our asparagus is done. Ooh, look at that rage into a boil. Set that back there, out of the way. Our timer's going off because that was 5 minutes. Check these bad boys. Not quite. Timer. We're going to go 4 more minutes. We'll keep an eye. We might add a little more goat cheese because I'm still not quite tasting the flavor. I also might add a little more salt. Thanks for those salt shakers. Why? I saw that salt and was like, yeah, we should probably add a little more salt. That might help flavor before we add more goat cheese. There's a little bit of salt. A little bit more. Just keep salting it to flavor. I don't really have an exact science to how much salt you need to use. Just kind of salt it until it tastes good. Let's see here. Alright, how are we doing now? A little more salt. Salt helps pull flavor. That's tasting really fantastic, guys. I might add more of the goat cheese just because I can really start to taste it now. And I want a little bit more of it because it's really good, guys. So I'd say there's a 6-ounce pack. There's probably an ounce left in there now. So we've used 5 ounces of goat cheese, 2 cups of water. Always write this stuff down, guys. Yeah, anytime you're trying something new, always write your stuff down. Luckily for me, I have it all recorded, so I can go through too. But that way, when like you go to make it again for a friend or family member, and you're like, shit, how did I make that? What did I need to put in that again? Now you know. All right, we're gonna pull these out real quick, give them a good look. Oh yeah, they're cooking real nice. They're gonna need a little bit longer though. We're at 350. We probably should have had it a little bit higher, maybe at 400. That's okay. So you mix in more of that goat cheese. Remember, doing little at a time, just in case, because you don't want to overpower with goat cheese. Although we got more stuff to mix to it. Remember, if you don't smoke cigs, so you need half as much salt. Something like that. Okay. Starting to taste really, really good. I'm starting to taste that. I'm just going to put the whole, because what am I going to do with, I dropped it down here. What am I going to do with like that much goat cheese left? So we might as well just put the rest of it in there. Because I'm not going to do anything else with this goat cheese, so might as well use all of it. Alright. So good. Got our drizzle, our glaze being made right here. Taste it. Sweet, delicious. You can kind of taste the two of them together to get an idea. You got that saltiness and tartness of the goat cheese and that. Get a little bit of flavor of that. And you get the sweetness of that. It's starting to taste amazing. I just can't imagine what it's all going to taste like when I put it all together. Damn, work calls. Draco, you got to go to work. Oh, bummer, man. Well, as soon as you get off work, you should come on over here, because this will be ready to be eaten. Draco is one of the other dudes with the foods. He'll be around doing some sushi at some point. I got the pictures of some sushi on my computer. I'll load up for you guys. So when we get some sushi gear, he'll be around with that. So he helps me eat some of this fantastic food after stream, because I can't eat it all myself, guys. I had to taste test it around. Very good. Really fantastic. Yeah, buddy. I think this is going to take a little longer than we expected. And I think I need it to be a little higher temperature than I thought too. So I'm going to raise the temperature to 400 while they're in there. And we're going to keep a very close eye on the time. And Barali's going to keep screaming at me in chat to make sure. Shut up. Alright, got to reset. Okay, our polenta is ready. Our drizzle is just about ready. Our asparagus is ready. Now what we got to do is plate this sucker up. I got a nice serving plate for us too. Grab this nice serving plate here. Go to switch cam. Alright, so got our serving plate, got our polenta, got our sauce drizzle in here being made, just reducing. I'm going to turn it up a little higher so it'll just cook a little faster off. If you do turn it up a little higher, just pay attention, because you can end up burning the hell out of it. I don't know if you watch those Facebook pictures, and it has that one picture where it says when you're so bad at cooking you accidentally make lava. This is sort of how you do it. You take some sort of a sugary glaze or something that's going to glaze over, and you let it overboil the crap out of it until the moisture comes out, and then you just burn the hell out of all the sugars and everything else in it, and it starts glowing, and you get that picture. It's really funny. Now I want this to hurry up because it smells and looks delicious. That polenta tastes amazing. I've never made that before, and that's really good. I like it. I'm going to have to use this in more dishes. And so I started to dwell on it a minute ago, and I'm going to come back to it. So what the polenta is when you're in a fancy restaurant and you're doing fancy dishes and you got like $30, $35 plates going out the door. Oh my god, a crazy cat. when you got the when you're in a fancy restaurant, you're trying to plate these dishes. You know, you it, all your plates, you have a meat, you have a starch, and you have a vegetable. So part of that starch being either rice, pasta, mashed potatoes, something along those lines, sweet potatoes, French fries, something like that, right? So what polenta is it's a cornmeal base. It's a starch, right? So it'll get your starch on your plate with your meat without having to have a big clump of mashed potatoes, or without having to have like mashed potatoes and gravy, like some really heavy stuff. If you're trying to make lighter dishes and things like that, and you're talking about like fancy restaurants where you're talking about $30, $40 plates, maybe even more, stuff like that. So what you do is you make this polenta, which, as you saw, is literally water, cornmeal. We added some goat cheese and salt. And it's a baseline. I mean, you can add any flavorings to it that you want. You can change. It's a baseline flavor, cornmeal and water. So what you do is you put that on the bottom of the plate in a little pool, and then you stack everything else on top of it, and it gives you your starch, and it lets you present your starch in a sexy way, you know. Some dishes just look so good and so nice looking that when you add mashed potatoes and gravy, or a big pile of rice or something, you just make the whole dish look like hell. Really, it doesn't look that great, you know. Camera's flashing a ton right now. Which can? Oh, that one. Yeah, I don't know why. I think it's because it doesn't know how to pick what light setting it wants to be in. See, if I stand there and if I stand over there, then it goes straight. And if I stand over here, then it doesn't know what light setting. Let me see if I can drape this down. Let's see if that helps the... Okay, yeah, I think it was getting some backlight from my window on that side. Did it stop flashing now? So yeah, part of that polenta is just a fancy way of serving starch on a plate without having to use mashed potatoes. Now where did I put? There we go. That seemed to stop the flashing a bit, huh? All right, yeah, it's the lighting. We're working on all kinds of stuff. Oh, I hear this sizzling a little bit. We're still pretty rare. Might give it a flip just for the fun of it. You can poke it to temp it, or as you see how I'm doing, is you just give it a little touch with your finger and kind of feel how soft the meat is. It's called the finger test. In a lot of bigger kitchens, you will temp all of your steaks just by touch, because if you poke it, then you let all the juice bleed out, and then you lose a lot of flavor. I love that 10-10 kitty thing, man. That's cracking me up. So, also for Monday's stream, we're gonna be making homemade meatballs with a homemade marinara sauce. So we're gonna make a homemade meatball hoagie. Should be pretty tasty. Did you open the stream with that song? Not yet. No, I opened it with the. I used that Bob Ross remix because I love it. But yeah, I posted that to Facebook because it was hilarious. How's it going, Chuck? Good to see you. Yeah, that song killed. I played that song for YU. YU, if you're curious, it's that Twitch star song. That's hilarious. All right. This is good though. It's giving us time to let this glaze cook down, so that works. And give us time to maybe grab a cup of coffee, pour another little bit here. I love my coffee. Can never have too much. Cheers, guys. So you got some new guys in the stream. Chuck just showed up. Something that I like to still ask is, what'd you guys have for dinner? Are you guys doing anything special tomorrow? Tomorrow's Pro Bowl football, which is really like touch football. So you guys making anything special or going anywhere special today, tomorrow, for the weekend? Eating anything good? Show us the oldest thing in your fridge right now. Let's see. And actually, what's funny about that is we just cleaned our fridge because we do it pretty regularly. What would be the oldest thing in the fridge? I would have to go with. Oh, you know what? Well, you're not even gonna. It's really not even that special to show. I mean, it's a bottle of beer, really. If you want to get technical, the bottle of beer has been in here forever. There's some cock and bull. Yeah, sorry, there's no moldy food or anything like that. Everything that is in my fridge is capable of being cooked and eaten and made right now. And one of these days, I was kind of thinking about it, although the only problem is it would be such a waste. But it would be really cool as I was debating, like if there was like an all-day sort of cooking stream or something, or just like a really long cooking stream, where you just say, okay, we're just going to keep cooking and just like cook everything in the house. And just spend like 12 hours just making as many dishes as you can with everything. And as the day goes on, your ingredient list will get less and less because you'll be using more, so you have to come up with more to make. I thought that would be kind of interesting. But then the problem would be is I would have so much food made, and it would just all have to go straight to waste. So vintage beer, yeah, it's vintage Corona too, nonetheless. I quit drinking this year. So I quit cigarettes last year, so I quit drinking for this year for fun. And I have a lot of other friends that had to quit for other reasons. So for support and just for fun and something to do. So I imagine that beer will stick around for a while. Unless Draco swings over and drinks it. But I just haven't been interested in alcohol anymore. I've seen too many people get too crazy. Alright, let's check our food. Should be pretty close. Got another good few minutes. Yep. And Borelli, you are right. That cooked so perfectly quick and so perfectly right. So let's switch over to our prep can. We are ready. Quit drinking for fun? What? Yeah, I know, right? It's kind of weird to say that, but yeah, you have to understand about out here, man. People drink a lot out here, and it becomes really insane and crazy. And so I just stopped just to show you can do it for a year, you know. Since I quit cigarettes last year, figure why not keep the journey going, right? Alright, so let's plate this. So we're going to take our polenta. We're going to put that on here first, right? Get a nice pour on there. I love cupcakes! So we'll get, yeah, a nice set of polenta on there. Looks nice, right? It's acting as your starch for your dish. And it's also acting as a seasoning, flavoring. Something else that you could do too, which we didn't, but I have some right here so we can do for fun, is you take a little bit of parsley and sprinkle some parsley on top just for a look. If you had fresh parsley chopped on, it'd be cool too. Small towns there, never anything to do but drink and How many cameras do you use? Gussie Moose, good to see you. Thanks for stopping by. I have 3 cameras at the moment. One camera's on my laptop. I got one camera above my stove and one camera above my prep area. So I'm running 3 at the moment. I'm working on getting another one to replace my laptop one, and then I'll get another one to go outside with. What did you put in the polenta? Check. Oh, the polenta. So polenta sauce is just water and cornstarch. And then I added 6 ounces of, I used 2 ounces of water. I added cornstarch till it got to the consistency that you see. And then I added 6 ounces of goat cheese and mixed into it, which was just awesome and made it taste really, really fantastic. I'll be damned. Yeah, Gussie Moose. Yeah, so 3 cameras. Curious about it, or using OBS? Yes, sir, I'm using OBS. Do you do streaming too, or are you trying to get some tips for your stream? I have no problem helping you out, answering some questions. And YU and Borelli in here, they got answers too. If you're looking for a specific question for that. But yeah, running three cams through OBS. Alright. So we're going to take our... just like seeing cooking. Nice, right on. Well, if you like seeing cooking, look at this lamb chop right here. So good looking. If you like cooking, Goosey Moose, you should totally click us a follow. I do this every Monday and Wednesday at 9 p.m. Eastern. I just started doing on Saturdays too, as I can raise money and stuff like that to keep the dream alive. And I post YouTube videos making quick little dishes and fun different things using leftovers and stuff like that on our YouTube channel, The Dude's Foods. We're on Facebook, Twitter. If you scroll down, you'll see all our buttons and stuff. So if you like cooking shows, you know, stick around. We're going to be doing this for a while. I've been doing this for a month now, and I've really been enjoying it. I've been in the kitchen for 15 years, so I've had some experience at this. So we're going to plate this up. I like to leave the bone in the center. If you ever notice how the meats are usually out and you get those long stick bones that come up, the reason why is you always want the meat to stick out. Goosey Moose, thanks for the follow, buddy. Right on. Yeah, we're starting a really cool journey, man. So you should definitely stick around for it and check us out because we're gonna be having all kind of fun. We got all kind of ideas and plans. So the reason those stick up with the bone coming up like that, and then you have the meat, like the meat here and the bone sticking up, is you always want your meat to present out to the plate. So you want your customer to be able to take their fork and knife and cut and eat right off there. If you put the bone side out, then they have to turn the plate, they have to move their meat around. You always want to serve and present your dish with the meat readily available with the bone on the inside of the dish, the meat on the outside, so people can just start right up and dig right in with no problems. Look at this. Guys, I'm going to put a little bit of, I'm going to eat a little bit of this crust just to taste it. Yeah, that crust is really good. On top of there. Oh my god. Our drizzle is getting there. It's actually starting to look a little drizzly too. Let's see here. Oh yeah. It's getting there. What we're going to do, I'm going to rinse this out. I'm just going to use a little bit of it now. I'm going to let some more reduce because we could let this reduce. For probably when you're making this, let me switch our cam here for you here. So when you're making the, the cherry wine sauce, you might want to start it a lot earlier. Obviously, this is live stream, so it's a little hard to do some of it. But you ideally, if you're going to be making a lot of it, you're going to want to let it reduce and cook for probably 2-3 hours or so. Excuse me. So we got a little bit. We got it most of the way. I'm going to pour some into this container here. It's starting to get about to where we want. I'm going to throw it in the freezer just for a couple of seconds to help it cool down because it'll get a better drizzle effect when it's colder. So this will work. So the other thing we got here, we got our asparagus. Pull that out. Vinegar smells so good on that. Chuck, if you have leftover polenta, pour it into a clean, empty can. Put it in the fridge when it sets up. Open the bottom of the can and use the lid to push. Yeah, huh? Oh, hey, why you donated $2? Hey, why you? Right on, man. Thanks for the $2, buddy. You're so cool. I appreciate it, man. Keeping the dream alive. Right on, buddy. I will keep that in mind with the polenta because obviously I have a leftover and obviously I have some more here and obviously I have that deep fryer. And so maybe I'll use that idea on the deep fryer tomorrow and maybe make another little fun YouTube video with it too, huh? I enjoy making those YouTube videos. It's been a good time. I'm also going to make a YouTube video later this week of making some homemade hummus. We were going to make something tomorrow. I forget what we were going to make. We're going to make, what are we going to make tomorrow? I forget, we're going to make something for dinner tomorrow. My girlfriend and I, and we were planning to film it and make a YouTube video of that, but I can't for the life of me remember what it is we're going to make. But I'm going to make a YouTube video of that. I'll probably make a YouTube video of doing that fried polenta because I'll have leftover of it, and I'll probably just want to do that later tomorrow for anyways. And then later on in the week, we'll do a YouTube video making some hummus. I'll show you how to make fresh hummus. And then we got Monday's stream. On Monday, we're going to do homemade meatballs with homemade marinara for a homemade meatball hoagie sandwich. Next Wednesday, for our $10 Wednesday stream, I was kind of looking into a couple of different things, and I had an idea, and I can't think of what it was at the moment. I have it written down somewhere. I was kind of browsing through it, a couple different things. Oh, yeah, we might do that pizza idea. I don't think Joe's Life is in chat at the moment. But Joe's Life was talking about a pizza, so maybe we'll do something for that $10 pizza and making a cheap one, decorating them or something. I don't know. I haven't fully come up with that. And then, yeah, sometime next week I'll make a hummus. And maybe I'll make an aioli at some point or something like that. I'll make like a homemade aioli, or who knows. Or if you guys have any ideas, I'm all ears. Alright, so our sauce has cooled down a little bit. It's not quite to where we want it. You can see it's gotten a little bit thicker. Let me switch our camera here for you to see a little better. He'd be so mad he missed this. Joe is at work. Oh, man. Well, that's okay if he does miss this. Tell him it will be on YouTube. No more requests from Joe. He's gotten enough requests. Yeah, this will be on YouTube, so you can tell Joe to go ahead and watch that. The meatball hoagie request, I don't know if you guys remember, there's a guy in here named Apex, or he might be lurking around, but Apex gave me the idea for homemade meatball hoagie. So yeah, but I thought Barali was the one to give me this request, though, right, Barali? You requested this one. So if Joe's Life is here at least next Wednesday, then he'll be here for it. So ideally I wanted this to be thicker. We didn't have the time, but that's okay. So it's a little lighter, so what we're going to do with this is we're just going to take in and just do a nice little drizzle. Ideally you want a better drizzle than that, you know, like a nice syrupy glaze, but that will work. And then take a little bit of your asparagus and just kind of lay it across like so. Clean up a little bit of the edge for presentation purposes. Tell me that doesn't look like just one sexy dish. Oh my god. I'm so excited about this. This looks so good, guys. Yeah, that's you, Barali. So how's that look, man? Barali, you are our quest giver for the week. Each week we need a quest giver, something to make. Oh, hey, now it's starting to get that gooiness that we like. See, that's a little more syrupy. And if that cooled down, it'd be a little more too, so perfect. Feels birthday, man. Look at this. Let me see if I can, I'm going to switch my scene here. Forgive me if it's a little janky for a second. That's my dude's Mac from the thing. Just want to give you a full video picture of this amazing looking dish here. This is what we created. It's fantastic. Is that... My cameras go out of focus. Alright, yeah, my camera's out of focus. Let me focus this in so we can get even a little bit better for you. My camera always likes to go out of focus on me, and I haven't figured out why yet. There we go. A lot better. Just magnificent. Now you see the sauce made a nice ring around the base. It doesn't look bad like that. It does look kind of cool. But if it was more drizzlier and more syrupier, it would be perfect lines right across it. But check that out. That is just a fantastic looking dish. Thank you guys for joining me for that. We're going to cut into it here now. So I'm going to pull it all to a separate plate. How does it taste, dude? That's what I want to know. Yeah, all right, Barali. I know. We're getting there. We're getting there. I know. He's stoked. All right, so got on the thing here. I want to give us a little more polenta. Slide this over. Sauce. Alright, so we're going to take the pork tenderloin part off first. Or not the pork, but the lamb tenderloin part first. That's that nice soft stuff. Alright. Looks amazing. Dip it all together. That is fantastic. Absolutely fantastic. Why you? Go try it. I don't know what lamb's supposed to taste like, but it tastes like an amazing piece of filet mignon. This polenta is awesome. The sweetness of the glaze on top, everything just blends so amazingly well. $300 gold crusted lamb with diamond sprinkles. Alright, why you put up the money, we'll make it. I never knew pork tenderloin came from lambs. Go figure. No, I probably said that wrong. The tenderloin portion, all animals have a tenderloin. So it's the lamb tenderloin, not the pork tenderloin. I'm mixing the two up a lot. Oh my god. Guys, that was so good. Let's try the top part of that. Let's cut it open. See if I can show you a nice cut here. Oh yeah, perfect medium rare. Let me see if I can click this light off for a little bit. Oh, that got dark. That give you a bit there without the glare on it, so you can see the nice redness of that. So we got a nice medium rare there. Nice and colorful. Nice and pink and red. Bloody. And we just dip that in with the other sauce part. Medium rare is the way to go. The dude loves the lamb. That is so good. So good. So flavorful. So tender, juicy. Why are you gonna make Wednesday's dish? Lamb is a fantastic meat. I've never really had it done this way, and I am not disappointed by any means.